place is DWBS Sports. DWBS Sports, it's your favorite show. DWBS Sports, where degenerates go. DWBS Sports, time to change your approach with Aaron Holzman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press is full of shit.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dudes Who Bet Sports Show. It's a special one for us today because Oaklawn Park is at the forefront with the Rebel Stakes. That's what we'll be talking about. It's been a while. We've had a lot of things going on. Anything on your mind before we get going, Papa?
Well, I just getting my Kit Kat finished here, my dessert for lunch.
Yes.
Had to get that in there real quick before we did this, man. We've been rushed this morning. You're heading down, correct?
Correct. Yes, I will go down tomorrow morning. I will go down to Oaklawn, be there Friday and Saturday. Yes.
Yes. As of right now, we're not going because of the weather.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't looked at it since early this morning. I don't like rain, and here's the deal: I don't mind it, but you're there a long time, and if you stand outside like I like to do and like you like to do and be right by the track and all of that, it's miserable. With conditions like that, they do have plenty of inside seating, and it's fine. Mm-hmm. But I'd rather be down there, downstairs than upstairs in the seating. I don't have as much fun when I'm up there. So I might wait and go down later on in the year when the weather's good. Unless they change the forecast, and then in our situation, we can go at any time. So
right now, the weather is 43 degrees and rain on Friday, 47 degrees and rain on Saturday. So
that is not good.
You can kind of count on a wet track. Now, the one thing I will say, Oaklawn has had a lot of sloppy tracks this year. It really hasn't affected things like it has in normal years. It's played a little bit fairer. Sometimes that track gets wet and it's just a mess. It hasn't really been that way this year. 50% chance of rain both days. So it's going to be cold for sure. Rain, it's 50-50 on.
Yeah, it's just one of those little damp, crappy days without any sun. And that's bad, But, golly, what a card. What a day Saturday is. It's fantastic. And the Rebel drew a great field. So the racing's going to be great.
It did. Yeah, it's going to be good. And it's going to be pretty similar to Southwest weather. That's a good point there, Mark. Yeah, it was kind of the same for that as well. And we had a good day on Southwest Day. Hopefully we do the same on Rebel Day. It is a really good card. We're going to go over 3 of the stakes races today. It's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a very good card. Let's get right into it. I'll go ahead and pull it up here, and we will get going on it. And we will start with the main event. We'll start with the Rebel. This is a race for me. Before we really get into it deep, it is one of the most special races on the year, every season. This used to be ran around St. Patrick's Day, and it was always such a festive time at Hot Springs. If you don't know about Hot Springs, on St. Patrick's Day, they have the world's shortest St. Patrick's Day parade, and it's actually a really, really big deal in Hot Springs. So one of the little weird things about that town, but it's always just been wrapped around a lot of fun. And boy, has the Rebel really produced some great horses over the years. Talking about Curlin, looking at Lucky, The Factor, Secret Circle, Will Take Charge, American Pharaoh, Magna Moon, Omaha Beach. So many good horses have come out of this. Now we're here, a field 11 for this year's running. 1 mile and 16th, of course, $1 million purse. Crazy that the Rebel is now ran for $1 million. Who do we like, Papa Dude? This seems like an evenly grouped bunch of horses here.
Oh, this is a tough one. I mean, I went through it. I've got, 8 horses out of 11 written down, Mark, first Rebel Stakes he ever attended was St. Patrick's Day. I believe that was ours, right, Aaron?
No, we were Arkansas Derby. I think you were there.
That's right. That's right. No, I was not at the Rebel that year. I did not see it. The first time I saw Curlin was at the Arkansas Derby. Me and you were there. So you beat us there by just a little bit, Mark. Mark also made a good point earlier there in the chat that Rosario was in town to ride, and Asmussen has 3 horses in this race, and he's not on any of them, and he doesn't have a mount in this. That's kind of interesting too.
Mhm.
I would have thought Asmussen would have put him on one of the three he's got.
Well, it
But
seems like Red
anyway,
Route 1 would fit Joel Rosario really well.
absolutely. So aren't you a little surprised on that? I'm a
Mhm.
little bit surprised for sure. But this race means an awful lot to you. I think this is you've been down there for some reason. I don't go to the Rebel as much as you have.
Mhm.
Did you miss it last year, or do you have a streak going?
No, I've missed the last few actually. I missed
Okay.
last year. I was 2 years ago. It was still COVID. You couldn't go. 3 years ago, of course, it was full blown COVID. I have not been since Omaha Beach
Okay.
and Long Range Toddy in 2019.
All right. So it's been a while for you too.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, it always comes out for me. It's just the timing's not right on that. I've been to Southwest a lot, and I've been to the Arkansas Derby quite a bit. So anyway, I'm probably going to miss this one because of the weather. But let's get back to where we are. Seems to me like a ton of speed in this race. Do you see that too? A lot of
Yeah.
speed.
Yep, I think that's where you could start for sure. There does seem to be a lot of speed. The two powerful can go. 7 confidence game, Frosted Departure, maybe Reincarnate. There's a bunch.
There's a bunch of them. So you got to kind of look at, is that speed going to hold up? Will they be able to? Will they get into a speed duel, and then that closer comes from behind? I kind of leaned, and I'm not real sold on this horse, but I kind of like the style of the 5 Giant Mischief. And the other key for me is, look who's riding the horse.
Mhm.
And Ortiz doesn't ride for Brad Cox that often. And he's come in, I would think, specifically to ride this horse, wouldn't you?
Yep.
And I think that was the tip off for me. They think this horse is something. He hasn't run for a while. So I don't know that that means anything. I just like the style of the horse. I think he's going to lay off the pace a little bit, let that speed duel take place, and then he's going to come and get him. So I've got him on top. I've got Reincarnate, the 6, as my second horse. Not real fond of him, but anytime a former Baffert horse is there, you better put him in your trifectas or whatever, because Baffert wins this race. We see who the trainer is, but that's only because he's given this horse to this guy, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And then Cox has another one in Verified, number 1. I like this horse too. And I kind of like all 3 of the Asmussen horses. You know, I think they've got a chance. I love Gun Pilot. This will be a big step for him. See how he does. And I even give Bourbon Bash a little bit of a shot, the 10 as well. He's going to have a lot of breaks to get there. But I'm going to go with the 5 on top. How are you going?
Well, we've got the same horse on top, and I really didn't think coming in that I would pick this horse, but you just kind of go back and look at the replays. I believe the number 5 Giant Mischief is the most talented horse in the race. I think 1.16 is well within his range. I think he'll be okay there. I don't know about much farther than that. I just went back and watched the Remington Park Springboard Mile. The move he makes on the turn is it's breathtaking. It is really, really strong. He does not catch Wild Atlantic Storm, who just freaked, ran an incredible race that night. But, you know, Giant Mischief completely missed the break. Looks like he's going to just be terrible in the race and still makes up a lot of ground. And you look at the speed of the race, I definitely think there's going to be a lot of it. And that's why I did not put Reincarnate on top. I just think he's going to get into a little bit of a duel, kind of be weak and late. I think Giant Mischief can come get the job done. So we're both on the same horse on top. One thing that's interesting, and there's a couple comments, and I'll bring them up as we go along here. This race has a lot of musical chairs going on with jockeys from these horses last race, Mark said. And it is interesting because, you know, Jesse says, hey, Jalen's top pick to win the Derby right now, talking about the Kentucky Derby, is Red Route 1. Well, I kind of like him not to win the Derby, but I do like him. He lost his rider. Ricardo Santana looks to have chose Gun Pilot over Red Route 1. So when I start to separate the Asmussen horses, you almost pause and you think, well, okay, it looks like Gun Pilot's his best, Red Route 1 second, and Powerful is third. Is that kind of how you saw it?
Oh, definitely. When you look at the jockeys, and if you've been paying some attention as we do at Oaklawn, it seems like Santana is getting back into favor with Asmussen when they had a little problem in the past. It looks like he's winning back Asmussen a little bit, which I think is why Rosario's not on one of these horses, perhaps, too.
Yeah, Rob brings up again, he is on one of Asmussen's horses in the Honeybee, which was, I think, one of his better ones. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
So it is odd. It's like, and this is no offense to Castillo or Torres, but Rosario's there and he's not. I don't know. It's just weird. It's very weird.
Certainly no offense to Torres because he's winning everything in sight.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like maybe you want Torres right now for sure.
Yes. So, I mean, what a meet that guy's having. It's fantastic what he's done. I think it's very interesting too. So where were you headed with that?
Let's talk about another thing that I think is very interesting.
Okay.
Laurent Giroux. He's been on verifying. He's been on Giant Mischief.
Yeah.
Now he's off Giant Mischief to ride verifying for the first time. He's never been on verifying. So I thought, well, that's awfully strange. Is it, hey, we want IRAD to ride our best horse, Giant Mischief, and oh, by the way, Florent, you'll get verifying? Or did Florent say, hey, I'm number one rider in this barn, I want verifying? I don't know. That's another weird situation there. And how about Juan Hernandez? How would you like to be him? He wins the Sham on Reincarnate at 16-1. John Velasquez is on Reincarnate in this race.
Yeah, I think that's understandable, though, don't you? I mean, that's kind of the way it works in that barn, don't you think? Velasquez is going to get his pick. Back to what you were talking about, Ortiz and Giroux.
Yeah,
I think if you get a chance to get Ortiz Jr., you get him.
Yeah.
I think that's what it amounts to. It is kind of a slap in the face to Giroux.
And to Dennis's point here, he says Cox, he thinks that Giroux, he lost them out on Giant Mischief after that debacle at Remington, where the horse just didn't get out of the gate. So that could be the case. Maybe he kind of fired him from Giant Mischief.
Well, that's a good point. Yeah. I think it's more like Mr. Giroux, I've got Ortiz Jr. and he's going to ride this horse and you can have verifying. I think that's it. So who got left out? Flavian Pratt?
Well, Flavian Pratt, yeah. I mean, he is now aboard Talladega.
Right.
But he did ride Talladega the last time he was there. So I guess that makes a little bit of sense. We'll see. He's 30-1, so we'll see what happens with him. One thing I will say, and I believe Giant Mischief is the most talented horse, but we haven't seen him since December 17th. I'm talking about the Cox horses. So Giroux, quote unquote, loses the mount on Giant Mischief, but could be the winner in this. Verifying has a solid foundation. He beat two horses that came back to romp in their next starts. Right. One romped so much that he's in the Rebel here and is below 10-1. Gun Pilot. Two Eagles River last weekend romps. Did Giroux win this situation, though?
Well, he might have.
Certainly, well, I don't think he is as talented as Giant Mischief. He kind of checks all the other boxes that maybe Giant Mischief is missing.
It's a pretty good consolation prize, I would say. I don't imagine he's lost much sleep over this. I mean, he does have a mount, and it's a very good horse. So, yeah, when you can throw him onto another horse like that, I think that's pretty easy to do.
Yeah. Well,
how do you see Gun Pilot? Is he tested enough?
I don't know. I'm so on the fence with Gun Pilots. I still prefer Red Route 1 of the three Asmussen horses. I still prefer him over even Gun Pilot, but I don't know. He ran really, really well last time out. He showed a running style that he's going to have to show here because of so much speed. You're not going to be on the lead, I don't think, if you're Gun Pilot. That stock and pounce is going to help him here. I'm just not sure. I'm not sure he's quite good enough because if you watch that verifying race, verifying killed him. in
Yeah.
in that spot.
I know he won last time out. Refresh my memory. Who did he beat? Was it Bourbon Bash?
Yes, he beat Bourbon Bash. Yep.
Okay. And it wasn't that impressive, really. What did he win by, like 2, something like that?
Yep.
And if I remember, he didn't really pull away from the field.
Right.
So I wasn't very impressed in him. I don't have him in my top 3. And I'm more inclined to take Red Route 1, as you are, because of the running style that he has.
And again, if we're talking about a lot of pace, it's going to just play right into Red Route 1's hands, just like last time. He just passed all those tired horses that were chasing Arabian Night and got second. This is not a horse I'm real interested in ever betting to win. I'm just going to throw that out there. Yeah. He's looking at Lee. That's what he looks like to me. I will always have this horse underneath. He's just one of those horses that I think underneath, he's always going to make sense. You know, I'm picking a bit of a closer in Giant Mischief, but the difference between Giant Mischief and Red Route 1 gets way behind. Giant Mischief, if he breaks, should be about mid-pack. And I think that is going to be a big advantage when they turn for home.
I do too. Red Route 1 is going to be one of those horses that's going to be a millionaire because he's going to pick up the pieces of these big purses. He's going to get a lot of thirds and seconds. And like a second in this race is $200,000. And a third's $100,000. He's going to pick up a lot of those. And he'll probably be a millionaire before he's done and only win 3 or 4 races if he does.
Yeah, he's already at 314,000. He's 1 for 6. He might be a Zandon 2.0, as Jesse says. But you know, let's just remember, Zandon did win the Bluegrass. I really don't think Red Route 1 is a Bluegrass winner. I just don't. But we'll see. Maybe he's going to show us something. But yeah, I think he is going to get a lot of purses. And if you look at it, it's a situation where he's only ran 1 poor race. All of his other races, he showed up and was, you know, either hit the board or was within range. So it's going to be interesting to see how this horse kind of progresses. Again, though, I just don't think we're going to see this horse get up and actually win, but I do think he's one to play underneath. And yeah, almost like a Midnight Bourbon, although a completely different running style from Midnight Bourbon. He would get to the front and never could hold on. This horse gets to the back and can't ever get to the front. So 2 different things, but yeah, same kind of thing for sure.
I don't think he has Midnight Bourbon's talent.
I don't think he does either. I think Midnight Bourbon, well, you know, he's tough to say because, you know, he did almost win the Travers. You know, I don't know if Red Route 1's going to come within half length of winning the Travers or whatever that was. I think he was, you know, he was real close at times. I guess I would agree with you. I think that early turn of foot always made Midnight Bourbon just a little more dangerous.
Right.
I just think with Red Route 1, it's going to be, Keen Ice, as Mark said, maybe you're just going to need a total pace collapse to play him to win. Yeah. You could get that here, but there's also some stalkers that I think won't get involved in the pace that'll be able to get first run on him here.
Well, who you got second?
Yeah, so we were talking all around it here. Giant Mischief first for me. I did put Reincarnate, ended up putting him in second here. I just kind of feel like, yes, he's been on the lead when he's won the last 2 races, but he sat off the lead a couple of times as well. He didn't win, but he still ran pretty well. I think he's most effective when he's out there on the lead. I think he'll have to stalk in this situation. I think he's going to get out kicked late, but I do like Reincarnate, and this is the horse that I'm most looking forward to seeing in person, because when you watch these horses on the screen, he looks like a beautiful horse. So I am excited to see him in person.
The 6.
Yes. And then I did put Red Route 1 third, and then I put Verifying in 4th. So I went 5, 6, 3, 1.
I think if I was going to do the trifecta and you just want to bet a straight trifecta, I would not put 5, 6, 1. One of those is not going to be in there.
Yeah. You need to get a price involved. Red Route 1 is one we kind of like. Let's talk for a second about a couple other prices. Okay. You mentioned Bourbon Bash.
Yeah.
sometimes with these Lucas horses, you kind of just have to block out a big chunk of what they've done. Like those races at Churchill and Keeneland and Saratoga, just you got to block them out and just focus on when this horse got to Oaklawn. He's been running pretty well. And if you go back, you watch his last race on February 4th, where he lost the Gun Pilot. He turned for home, and it kind of looked for a second like he was.
He did.
He didn't. I don't think he's nuts underneath. What do you think?
No, I don't either. He ran pretty well that day. For a brief moment, I thought he was going to win.
Yeah.
And he just kind of faded. So that's kind of you kind of got to, that's not a good thing.
No.
The other horse that, can't believe I'm going to say this, the 11 might be a horse you look at also. The McPeak horses are so strange. You just don't know. But he didn't run all that bad in the Southwest and got third. He could come off and get him too. He's another one you got to kind of look at. He's shown some class.
So here's why I kind of like Frosted Departure underneath as well as an option if you're looking for longer prices. He was the only one that was kind of up there with Arabian Night, kind of chasing him, that didn't totally just throw in the towel. If you remember, Jace's Road, Corona Bolt, they quit. Frosted Departure stayed around. He got third. He wasn't close to winning, but he didn't completely throw in the towel. Like 2 races back, he beat 2 Eagles River.
Yes.
That's a really nice win for
Frosted. We beat him pretty easy.
Yeah, I just think, what kind of trip will they try with him? To me, I would try to take him off that pace a little bit and have him run on late and maybe get a piece of it. With so much speed, maybe he's the one that kind of sits off from this 11 hole and just says, well, hopefully they fall apart in front of me.
I'm a little surprised he's 20-1. Because he's ran well at this track, and I'm a little surprised the morning line made him 20-1. Mm-hmm. I can see 10-1, but 20, I think, is up there just a little bit.
Oh,
so,
yeah, on that, who do you think actually will be favored? Because I've had a lot of debate between people,
So Verifying, I can't read it. He's 2-1, right?
So Verifying's 2-1, Giant Mischief 5-2, Reincarnate's 7-2.
Well,
who out of those 3 will actually be favored?
The on-track people are probably going to bet 6 a lot.
I think so too.
I think Giant Mischief's going to be the favorite because of Ortiz Jr.
And you said it right as Dennis said it. I'm afraid Irad's going to take the money. That has me worried a little bit because I don't really want him to be favored. A lot of people have told me they think the 6 Reincarnate's going to be favored. I've had a few people tell me, no, I think this morning line's right. It's debatable for sure. I hope we get 5-2 on Giant Mischief. I think that's the right number.
I will say this. If B. Bafford was on there instead of T. Yakteen, Reincarnate would be the favorite.
Yeah.
I think he'd be the morning line favorite maybe right now if it was Bafford.
Yeah, you might be.
And
right.
It does make that much difference. It just does. So I think because Bafford's not, quote unquote, the trainer, and he probably really is, I think Cox's horse is Giant Mischief is going to be the favorite when it goes. I just think that horse is going to get more buzz because of Irad.
Archie says 9-5, maybe 2-1 on the 5. I think that's probably correct.
Yep.
Truth Exposed says Powerful. That's one we haven't talked about yet. Is her long shot. This horse coming off of a win. It was all the way back November 26th. The only time the horse stretched out, it wasn't good, but got way behind. Terrible break. Not any kind of the trip that you would want. My thing with Powerful, and I've had this horse kind of circled, I just feel like if we thought this horse was live, we'd have, and again, it's not a knock on Castillo, but he's doing decent, but I think we'd have a better jockey. That's my only pause with Powerful. Especially
with Rosario there, Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Unless, I don't know. Because he's got him on Grand Love in the Honeybee. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's totally mad at him, or he wouldn't have put him on that horse. So
for another one here, first off the bench, going long again. lot of speed. I just don't know. I don't know what the trip's going to be like for Powerful. I do think this is a talented horse, though.
Well, he has a good win.
Yeah.
That was a very good win at Churchill.
Yeah.
So, you can't ignore him for sure. But you got to throw out some of them. You just have to. You can't bet them all.
Yeah. And we talk about long shots. We maybe swing with Bourbon Bash or for us a departure. And if you want to take a swing with Powerful.
Oh, I can't argue with you.
If the horse stays at 20-1, I can't sit here and say that's a bad pick.
Me neither.
Those are my worries about the horse.
Right. Yeah. I agree.
All right. So we both have the 5 on top. I'm surprised. I didn't think you'd go with the 5. So
you didn't?
No, I thought maybe the 1 or the 6 would be.
Listen, when I saw him come in, and I know he doesn't ride for Cox all that often, I thought, this is a pretty good sign. This is a really good horse.
Just got word from Mike Somich that the Dudes Who Bet Daily Show just got a shout out on Veasan. That's awesome. So,
well, you're going to have to tell me what that is, because I got that too. I get that. What is that? Veasan, come on. There's a lot of people don't know what that is.
Vegas Sports and Information Network. It's
okay,
a
I bet you there's
station.
people on this chat don't know what that is.
Well, most people know what Veasan is. Yes.
Okay,
so,
well, I don't.
Thanks for shouting us out on that. I'm sure they're not watching. Well, they may be watching. Who knows?
They're watching. Right. Watch that.
Okay, let's move on. So we're both on the 5. Who'd you have in second?
6. Reincarnate.
We have the same 2.
Right.
5, 6. Who do you have in third?
1.
Okay,
but
so we
if I was actually at the track, I would not bet that, because you put the 3 favorites in a trifecta, they rarely ever come in. All right. Would you not agree?
Oh yeah, I'm playing it 5, 6, 3. And I'm just leaving verifying out and hoping it comes in 5, 6, 3. Because, and again, I think you're right. You got to fade one of these 2. I think it's very likely that 2 of the 3 favorites come in. You got to fade one of them, and you got to pick your long shot. And that's why we broke down the race like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, verifying is the one I'm going to fade.
Unless you bet 4.
But
unless you put
5, 6, 1, who cares? I'm not going to make you money anyway. So
that's true.
You got to fade one of them. I think verifying is the one I'm going to fade. 5, 6, 3. Let's do it.
Okay.
All right.
I like it. I probably would have went that. Let's see. Yeah, I can't argue with Red Rat. 1, because of what he did in the previous race.
Yep.
So.
Yep. All right. Let's move on now to the Honeybee, the race previous here, race 10 on the card. Honeybee Stakes, same situation, but for the fillies here, going a mile and a 16th, $300,000 purse, full field of 12 in this one after a short field last time in the Martha Washington. All right, we covered the Martha Washington pretty well. Wet Paint was the winner. We picked that one. So who do we like in this one? This could be another toughie here. Big field.
Well, you're going to be shocked.
Okay.
Because I don't do this, and you know it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with the 4. Gambling Girl.
Okay.
I like the fact that Ortiz is on the horse. I like the fact that Pletcher is sending this horse to Oaklawn. I think that's a good sign that he thinks the horse is pretty good. And then when I look at the last 5 starts, I don't see anything wrong with what this horse has done.
Mm-hmm.
Second in 100K, third in a grade 2, fourth in a 200K. Broke his maiden by 10 at Saratoga way back.
Yep.
These are all good things, and he's a closer, and there's a lot of speed in this race. I just like the fact that Ortiz is on the horse. It's 12-1. I don't think it'll be 12-1, probably 10-1, 8-1. That's good enough. I don't really like anything else all that well. I mean, I just think you got to include him. I went ahead and put him on top just to be different for once. I like Wet Paint, and I like Grand Love. So there would be my trifecta 4-7-3, and I'd put the 4 on top.
This is ridiculous. We're on the same horses again. I don't have them in this order, but 3, 4, 7 are the 3 that I like here.
Okay, let me throw these out. The other 2 I put down was the 2 and the 8.
I have no interest in the 8.
Okay.
That's just no. The 2, yes, I am interested in the 2 a little bit. Towhead, 2 wins in a row, looked pretty darn good at Oaklawn last time out.
Yeah.
So, yes, it's
He
here's
can
the deal.
screw things up.
I'm putting the 7 wet paint on top.
I like the 7.
I loved what I saw out of the 7 last time out, and I see this race shaping up to be right down her alley. I see a ton of speed.
Mhm.
Flavian Pratt is back to ride this horse. I
Right.
mean, he's not coming in to ride Talladega. He's coming in to ride this one. I loved what I saw from her last time out. Thought she took a big step forward. So I do like the 7 quite a bit. That's what I put on top. I'm with you on the 4, Gambling Girl. I think this is a horse that makes sense. You look at her situation, the race 4 back that she won, she beat Miracle. Miracle came back and almost won last weekend at Fairgrounds in the Rachel Alexandra. Didn't show up the race 3 back, but 2 back. Irad's aboard. Julia Shining's in that race. She only loses by a length. I would have liked to have seen a win last time out at Aqueduct. We didn't see it. I think she shows up here with a shot, though. Another one, a lot of pace. I think it's going to benefit her. So I like the 4 as well. So 7-4 is where I went. You talk about the 3. That's what I've got in third. This could be the speed of the speed type of situation, right? Where she just gets out and there's a lot of speed, but she kind of runs them into the ground. So I am a little worried about her going gate to wire. So I'm going 7-4-3 in this one.
Yeah, and it's good. I went 4-7-3. A little worried about the 3 hadn't run in a while, but might need the time off and might come back stronger than ever. I am worried about that 2 getting in there and messing that up.
Yeah,
the 2 could definitely do that.
The 2's a weird one. Started on the dirt, went to the turf, now back to the dirt. Finally got the maiden broke in her 8th start.
Yeah,
and it's almost like we woke up because the 9th start was an allowance at Oaklawn. She beat the shit out of those horses. I mean, she looked like a real racehorse. She really hadn't looked that great until those last 2 efforts. So I'm with you. It's going to depend on the budget. It's going to depend on where I'm going to go short in other places. Haven't done the pick 5 yet. She might make the ticket. She might not. I don't know. Another thing I've thought about is I like the 7 so much, I might single the 7. I just was really pleased with that.
You like that horse that well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's an up and comer for sure. The 7 is, and she was great in the Martha Washington. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
So this is going to be another good race. Really good one.
I think so. Archie says concerned with the price. It does feel like this horse will be favored. I don't think it'll be too short, though. To me, there's 12 horses. There's a lot of different ways you can go. You've got the Pletcher Irad that's going to take money. Aspies is going to take money. You got a big win over the track from the 2 horse. I don't think we're going any lower than about 5-2 on wet.
No, I don't either.
Yeah. So
her past, her record isn't going to take a lot of money. What I'm trying to say. Nice win last time out, but she hadn't won a whole lot.
I basically picked her last time out. The biggest reason was Defining Purpose was in the race for McPeak, and I knew that horse was going to be way short. And I said, I'm not playing McPeak as a favorite ever. So there's no way. And wet paint was the logical next option.
Yeah.
Now, the thing about it is I go back and it's like, wow, I didn't really expect wet paint would run that good. I thought her performance was surprisingly good in that spot.
Yeah, she ran great. Just did everything she was supposed to do. If she comes back to that, she's going to win.
Yeah, I think so too. And like I said, I think the pace really sets up well. And, Flavian Pratt is here to ride. So that's the other good news. By the way, Flavian Pratt, I bet he's very glad that he's here at Oaklawn because they've canceled racing all week at Santa Anita because of weather, because of winter weather. Can you believe that?
No, I cannot.
It's crazy. Yeah. But that canceled all weekend at Santa Anita. So that will make for a pretty big pool at Oaklawn. All right, let's go on.
What's winter weather at Santa Anita? 40?
No, like it's snowing.
Oh, you're kidding.
No, in some parts of California, it's like sleeting and snowing.
Is that right?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. It's crazy.
That's nuts.
I know it is. It's crazy. All right. But okay. So you're going 4-7-3. I'm going 7-4-3.
Okay.
In this one. So We have been a lot alike. All right, now let's go to the last one we're going to talk about here, the Carousel. Let me find it. There it is. Race 7 on the card. Another full field in a stakes race. So we've been seeing a lot of shorter stakes fields at Oaklawn. Not in this. Field of 11, 12, and 11. Let's talk about the Carousel. 6 furlongs for this one. $150,000 purse for the fillies and the mares. All right, who we got in this one? Are we going to be the same again?
I don't know. I have 6 of them out of the 11 that made the cut for me.
Okay.
That's kind of what I do. Then I kind of break them down a little bit. Again, I think there's tons of speed all over the place in this one. So I love the 7 horse, Pretty Birdie. And so I just do. I like the horse. Hasn't done anything wrong. Ran extremely well. So I put the 7, Pretty Birdie, on top. I went with another Price in second place, which you're going to be surprised probably. I went with the 9, I'm the Boss of Me, in second place. Really liked the way the horse ran in the American Beauty second time out, or last time out, finished second by a nose, I think. It was really close. Ran well. I think it might come off. It's got speed, so I'm a little bit worried about it. He's going to have to lay back. And then I've got the 11, third, Samurai Charm. Last 4 starts have all been in races I think a little bit, well, 2 of them have. Races that are a little bit better than this. Then won a couple of 75K stakes at Zia. Kind of a long shot here, I think, as well. I just kind of like the horse at, well, it's actually at 3-1, so it's not a long shot. I left the 5 off, and I imagine you've got the 5 on there, and I could see why. I just left her off. So I'm going to go 7, 9, 11.
Well, I've got 7 on top, Pretty Birdie. So we're either going to have a really good day or a really bad day together. I'm with you. I just think this horse, last time out, that was just a really professional win here at Oaklawn and just never really in doubt. And so I think this horse is going to be tough again here in this spot. Let's go to the front and take him as far as you can. I like Pretty Birdie a lot. I do like you, Gary. I'm with. I've got a long shot that you didn't talk about, though.
Okay, wait a minute. I want one more.
Okay,
I kind of forgot. I don't know if it's the same one. What's the 1's odds? It's not a long shot, is it? I like it as well, but I'll let you talk about it because its last 5 starts have been pretty dadgum good. So, yeah, that was another one.
Look, I hate everybody on this chat right now. They're all on the 1. You're on the 1. Yes, I like the 1 Hazy Command quite a bit. And this horse is going to be on a ticket without any doubt. Pick 4, pick 5, whatever. 2 wins in a row at Oaklawn. 1 came over a muddy track. I think that's important. Last time out was a fast track. This horse flies home. I mean, flies home. Those 2 races were really good. If we get the 5, we get the 7, even the 9, like you mentioned, out there in a little bit of a pace duel, I think the 1 mows them down late. I would be very, very interested to see what this horse goes off at. 10-1. If we're around there, that's probably worth a bet. I do like this 1 quite a bit. A lot of respect for the 7. I went 7, 1, 5, 11. So I got the 1 in second.
Okay. Did you look at the 4 any at all?
I did look at the 4. I kind of felt it was a situation. I've got the 4 covered because I played the 1. The 1 beat the 4 last time out. But a consistent horse at 20-1, you can have a lot more dumb choices.
Yeah, you got to eliminate some of them. You just have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really, when I was going through this, the 1 was the first one I looked at, and then I kind of forgot. I could put that 1 on my first 3 real easy. I really could because, like you said, last 2 races, very impressive wins at Oaklawn, which means something for sure. Good jockey that's run real well there this year. That's one to look at. That's a good long shot to throw in there.
Yeah, I think so. I just feel like if
I tell you what I'm gonna do.
What's
I'm
that?
going to take the 9 off of mine.
All right.
I'm going to change.
So
This is how come I miss a bunch.
I'd
'Cause
say
I
so bet
changed.
the 9.
Huh?
So bet the 9.
Now I'm going to take it off my. Yeah, it's probably. I'm going to move it from second to fourth. I'm going to go 7, 11, 1, 9. And the reason I am, this is another thing I didn't really look at close enough. I did these really quick. This one especially. You can't, and this is no knock on the trainer. I don't mean that at all. Doesn't win a lot of stakes races at Oaklawn.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a disparaging way at all. There's a lot of trainers that don't win a lot of stakes races at Oaklawn. I'm not saying he's not a good trainer. I'm just saying if I have to pick, I gotta put that one down a little bit more.
Yeah, you're stating a fact, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
The 10 Mercy Warren coming in for Cherie DeVoe from the fairgrounds. That horse is interesting. Getting Johnny V aboard.
You like her.
I like Cherie. A 16 length winner last time out. So really woke up.
Whoa.
Been working out really well. So we'll see. Getting Johnny V makes sense there. So
yeah.
The 10, if you want a little bit of a price, I wouldn't hate. The 11 Samurai Charm, we talked about it, but Peter Miller bringing a horse in. So makes sense,
Yeah.
Anytime he brings one in, you got to pay attention. It is interesting, though, that Flavian Pratt has been aboard the 11 and is not. Rosario is on the 11 in here. Don't see Flavian in this race. So
he's not in this race. So that's kind of strange, isn't it?
It is very weird.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Maybe they blame Flavian for
well, it sure sounds like it or looks like it.
Yeah. I don't know. This is, the carousel usually isn't that good of a race. I feel like this is a pretty darn good race this year.
This is a fantastic card, no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's these 3 races are really going to be fun to watch. I wish it was sunny and 60 degrees.
Yeah, I know. That is the sad part. Like I said, hopefully the track plays fair. It's been okay on rainy days so far this year, so that's the good news.
Well, they aren't predicting monsoons either, are they? Aren't they just kind of predicting little showers and things?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be just awful. I think it's just like a cold winter day where it kind of drizzles. Yeah. Is kind of the outlook, at least for right now. We'll see.
The other thing was the first 2 or 3 days of the week down there, it's been great. It's been in the 70s.
Yeah.
Like, wasn't it Monday? Yeah, Monday they had the President's Day's card and the sun was out and it was in the 70s. And it's the first time I've seen some of them in short sleeves all year long at Oaklawn. And then it turns cold again.
Yeah.
And then I was noticing next weekend, of course, you can't tell, long range forecast, you never know. It's supposed to be really nice.
That's weather in February and March and January at Oaklawn.
Yeah.
I've been in there in January in shorts, but
crazy.
Archie, before we go here, he says, how about Max Player coming back off a long layoff in the 3rd race? So Max Player is going to be on this card. It is race 3, like he said, go to mile 16th, an allowance race. It features Max Player. It also features Caddo River for Dwayne Lucas for the first time, which was strange. Thomas Shelby is in the race. Mystic Knight, Trident Hint, Frosted Grace. So a lot of horses that you've seen or heard from or heard about. It'll be interesting. That's going to be an interesting race for Max. Let's see. Max Player last win did come in the Jockey Club at Saratoga. That was in 2021. So it's been a while, but only 4 starts since then. They've been in really tough races. He just hadn't found his footing. This is a huge drop in class. We'll just have to see how he comes back. Yeah.
That'll be a great race too.
Yeah, it will be.
And Dwayne
Shelby,
Caddo River.
Yeah, Caddo River. What will he do? Thomas Shelby looks to be lone speed, but what will he do? He hadn't been very good lately. Like it's a weird one.
Yeah.
So we'll see. That's gonna be a good race. Max Player, if you want to play him, he's 5-1. So if you've got interest, he will be right there at a decent price. I also one other race, and you may not have seen this one yet or looked at this one yet. The 9th race at Oaklawn is an allowance going 6 furlongs.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be a battle. You got Osborne in this race, who looked really sharp last time out. Life is Hard, a horse coming back from a layoff last time out, nearly defeated Cogburn. This is going to be a battle as well. Wheeling Springs, Golden Hornet, Wayakin. Look out. The 9th race is going to be pretty tough as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, should be good. So
typical Rebel day, no doubt about it.
Yes. Yep. So it's going to be fun. This is a really good card. There was one other one. No, maybe we covered. Yeah, we covered that one already. So, okay. Well, any final thoughts before we move on?
No. I was going to say something about D. Wayne, but I can't remember what it was. It wasn't important anyway. But I know what. Have you heard any rumors on Secret Oath? Anything new on that horse?
Yeah, so a Secret Oath update, working out fairly well at Oaklawn. Has a couple of bullets. We'll be running, I believe, the Azeri on March 11th. I think that's March 11th. Let me double check the date. I'm 99% sure. They used to run the Azeri and the Rebel on the same weekend, but that's all changed now. Pull it up here. Yes, the 11th. March 11th, the Azeri Stakes. That will be the return of Secret Oath as of right now.
Well, she got a much-needed layoff. She ran in some pretty big races last year.
Yeah, probably wouldn't have hurt her if she had an even longer layoff, but we're here.
Not, but that's not going to happen. So.
No, yeah. So she's working well. That's the report anyway. I obviously have not seen that, but working well reportedly. And pointing to that Azeri at Azeri Stakes, always it's a local prep for the Apple Blossom. It always draws a pretty decent card, so yeah, I would expect her to be challenged in that race.
Have you ever heard a D. Wayne horse that isn't working well?
It's very true. Yeah, most of the time the reports are, oh yeah, she's working fantastic.
Did you hear what he said? I'm sure you did. After Samurai won the other day, of course he'd been over. Oh, he went to the Pegasus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they were kidding him about that was a prep for
the
Razorback. And what was it, like 3 weeks ago or 2? Pegasus. And D. Wayne goes, or they said, was that the goal? Was to bring him back to the Razorback? He goes, well, he was working. He just wanted out of that barn, and he was training so well. We just threw him right back in there. I don't know how many times I've heard him say that over the years.
Yeah, that is a classic line. He's like, he was tearing down the barn.
He did tear down that barn. I thought, what the heck? Let's get him out there.
Archie asked, is that where Clairiere might come back? The Azeri, I would think 100%. Well,
another one of my favorites.
Shouldn't say 100%, but I'd say a 90% chance Clairiere is in the Azeri. A horse has been working really well. Again, reportedly at fairgrounds, a lot of works, getting close. You got to think that's a logical spot.
She's another one that needed a layoff. She had an eventful 2022. One of my favorite horses, no doubt. That she brings it every time. Every time.
She does. Nearly won the Breeders' Cup Distaff. She'll be right here. I think she was in the Apple Blossom last year, not the Azeri. That's right. But I think she'll be Azeri, Apple Blossom for Mr. Asmussen. Mark says his dad jokes that D. Wayne runs his horses so much because at his old age, he'll forget his horses if they sit in the barn too long.
That's pretty funny.
Rob asks, is Candyman Rocket a single or fade? He's running at a Gulfstream on Saturday. Rob, I don't have to make that decision until tomorrow morning. But I can confirm that I have thought about what to do in that race since it came out on Saturday or Sunday, whichever day. So tune in tomorrow-ish. Maybe I'll have an answer for you, Rob. I don't know. I don't know what to do with that. We'll see. I'll sleep on that one. All right. So what's coming up next is Blinkers Off number 600.
At 2 o'clock.
At 2 o'clock. So an hour and 10 minutes from right now, Blinkers Off number 600 will come up next. It's going to be a special show. Jared says he's got some surprises for all of us. We're obviously going to talk about the Rebel. You look back, Blinkers Off was launched in January of 2013. So the show is 10 years old. Crazy to think about that. I've got some factoids, Racing Dudes factoids for everybody. It's going to be a special show.
That'll be a
If you
fun
can't catch
show.
it live, you do want to watch it. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch it. I usually take my nap about 2, so may have to do that a little bit sooner today. No, it'll be good. I hope he has some excerpts from the first show.
I don't know if he does or not.
Okay.
I don't know exactly. He will not tell me what he's been working on.
Did you have the theme then, or when you first broke that? I don't know that you did.
Yes, we did have the theme.
All right, you did have the theme.
No, we did not have the theme.
I didn't think so.
That came a couple years later. We didn't meet Ryan until a couple years later.
Okay.
We used like a intro from like a Dierks Bentley song, I think, as the theme to start. I can hear it in my head, but
he needs to start the show with that. That would be funny.
Well, I think we might get sued though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you guys didn't know any better then, did you?
Yeah. So just a little preview of it. A lot of people don't realize, this was 10 years ago that it launched. We were the only horse racing podcast on Apple.
Is that right?
That's it. We were it. And that's why we did it. And I didn't even know what a podcast was.
So you were on the ground floor of podcasts.
For racing, I should have said. Sorry.
Okay.
For racing. So yes, for racing, we were on the ground floor. We were the first one. Like I said, it was 10 years ago. Jared said we need to do a podcast. And my reply, I'll never forget, was, what is a podcast?
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is. And for a few years, nobody really knew what it was in the horse racing industry. But slowly and surely, there's millions of them now. But that's how we met Saratoga Slim. He searched for horse racing podcast and ours came up. And that's why we ended up meeting him. So There you go. That's what the show will be filled with, as well as handicapping, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yep. Good stuff. So, all right, I got to get off here. I got to prepare for that. But any questions before we leave?
Questions?
Yes.
No, not really. So just quickly, you mentioned on the Daily Show today that you like UCLA to win the national championship in basketball at this point.
That's a good thing we could transition to. Yes. I do like UCLA. Yes.
They're
a very complete team. I think they're experienced.
They're very well coached.
Yeah.
They're my second choice at this point. I don't really have a third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, or eighth. And Mike was talking about today on Sunday on the Daily Show, we're going to try to find a long shot, I think, to try to win the national championship. Good luck with that. Mm-hmm. That's not going to be easy to do. I like Houston on top. For me right now, they're the most complete team I've seen. A lot of people they compare Houston to Gonzaga in the fact that they're from a lesser conference, which is absolutely true. But the difference between Houston and Gonzaga is Houston plays defense and they rebound like fiends. I mean, they're just relentless. What's Gonzaga do? They try to outscore you. They don't play defense. And that's why they get beat. They get up against somebody and they don't hit the basket very well. Mm-hmm. Oh, here's a little preview right here. All right.
Yeah. So I pulled it up while you were talking. Houston, and I agree with Houston. Your take on them. They're 6-1 right now, plus 600. So,
well, here's the thing with Houston. The matchups, that's the whole key with them. I looked this up before we came on the show because I thought we might talk about this. Here's the way they've got the bracket set up now, which means absolutely nothing. This is from ESPN and Joe Lunardi, who is good at figuring this out. The way he has it drawn up now, here are the top 4 teams in the bracket that Houston would be in. Okay. They're, of course, the number 1 seed. Texas is number 2. I'll take Houston over Texas anytime. Okay, he'll just beat them. He just will.
Yeah.
Kansas State is 3. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
They will beat them. Here's the team that I think might give them some trouble. Their 4 seed there is Marquette. The 8 seed in that. Now, again, we're talking about something that's not even there, but it's the way they project it. and we got nothing to talk about but that at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Here's where I think they could have trouble. The 8th seed, which is who they would play in the second round if both teams won, is Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of team that could beat you.
I have a theory on Houston if you want to hear it.
I will. I love because Houston's my team.
If they get out of the first weekend, they'll get to the Final Four.
Oh, I agree with you. Yeah.
I think you're right. I think no matter who the 8 seed is or 9 seed that they play, that will be
that is a very tough game, usually.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Go through some of these other ones. Alabama
Okay.
8-1. I would not bet that was stolen money.
No.
Kansas 9-1.
By the way, Alabama may be without their best player before this is all said and done.
Well,
you know what I mean?
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But I mean, that could happen.
Could. Should.
Yeah. From what we know so far, yes. We don't know everything in that. That's the deal.
Yeah. Kansas 9-1 to repeat. You know, if you want to play them, I'm not going to talk you out of them, but I don't love them. I hate Purdue. I wouldn't play them at 9-1. UCLA 12-1. I like that. Arizona 12-1. Baylor. Dennis asked about Baylor 14-1. What do you think about them?
Well, they faded a little bit in the last week or so. They got killed or they blew that game at Kansas. They blew that big lead. I think that affected them a lot. And didn't they get thumped at K-State after that?
Yeah, they're kind of on a downward spiral now.
That was a tough 2-game road trip right there. You got to go to Lawrence, and then you got to turn around and go to Manhattan. That's pretty tough. That I'm going to like you guys say in horse racing, I'm going to draw a line through that K-State game because that was coming off a Kansas game that they had a big lead and blew it.
Yeah.
I think they're a sleeper. I think there's somebody, if they get the right draw, get a break or two, that's a good one. I don't like Tennessee. I mean, I don't think they're poorly coached or anything. I just don't. They've lost some games they shouldn't. I don't like Texas. I know you do, but they're not their football school. UConn really played great last night. Surprised me. They may be coming on. So you would take UCLA at 12-1, right?
Yeah, I'll take them. Yep.
Well, I think that I can't argue with that. I would go ahead if I wasn't going to take Houston. I'd take Kansas at 9-1. I love the way Kansas is playing right now. The thing about them is the other night I watched the whole game with TCU. They couldn't hit their ass. They did not shoot that ball well at all. And guess what? They won. Mm-hmm. Why? They're so damn tough. Mm-hmm. They're just tough. They just guard you. They rebound. They make a shot when they have to. They're tough. They're very, very well coached. Thing that worries me about Kansas, they play in the toughest league in the country. You got to bring it night in and night out, and you can be tired going into that tournament. And they got to get through a Big 12 conference tournament. If I was a Kansas fan, I'd almost want to get beaten that thing pretty early and then refresh going into the NCAA tournament.
I'll go the other way on that.
Okay.
Kansas has always gotten beat in this tournament, but last year they won it. And I think it helped that they were just the dominant team that has beat everybody's ass in the Big 12. It was very competitive.
Yeah.
I think it helped them.
Yeah. Well, they're tested. There's no doubt. Yeah. I don't know. I was looking here in the Big 12. Did you know this? Kansas is a projected number 1 seed. Mm-hmm. Texas and Baylor are number 2 seeds. Mm-hmm. Iowa State and now this was a couple of days ago. Iowa State and Kansas State are projected number 3 seeds. You got 5 teams out of a conference that are either a 1, 2, or 3 seed. That's how tough that league is. You got 10 teams in the league. 9 of them have a chance to make it. I don't think they will. I think 8 will. Yeah. But it's just amazing how tough that league is night in and night out. Yep. It's really tough. And you can say that about some other leagues too. Another thing I don't understand real quick, the SEC is a tough league. They're tough. Mm-hmm. The second place team in that league is Texas A&M. They've beat almost everybody in that league. And that league's tough. You got Alabama, you got Tennessee, you got Arkansas, you got Missouri, you got Auburn, you got Kentucky. Those aren't easy teams. And Texas A&M is projected as an 8.
Yeah, they're number 25 in the country right now.
How can that be?
I don't know. It's very
That
weird.
makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
None. How they are an 8 is just baffling to me.
Mhm.
I guess a lot of it is your out of conference schedule, I think, weighs into a lot of this now.
Mhm.
And they probably played some cream puffs. That doesn't matter.
Like, I would take them over Tennessee.
Definitely. They are playing great and they're beating these teams. I don't give a shit who you play in December. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's how you're playing now.
I would take them over. I'd take them over everybody, but, well, I mean, Alabama, we'll see what happens with them.
Yeah, they're really good.
I think Kentucky's playing about as good as anybody in the SEC right
They're
now.
playing great. That's what they do. Would you think Texas A&M could beat Purdue?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yes.
And Purdue's a number 1 seed. How are they a number 1 seed? I don't get this.
Yeah.
Why isn't UCLA? They're holding the Pac-12 against UCLA.
Yeah.
UCLA's played a good non-conference schedule. They beat everybody in the Pac-12. I think they've lost 2 games in the Pac-12. I don't care what conference you're in. You're going to lose a game somewhere.
Well, the Big Ten is always overrated. Always.
It is, and it is. They don't have power teams this year. They're solid.
Mhm.
They don't have the great teams, which tells me Purdue, they're barely in first place in the Northwestern is in second place in the Big Ten.
That conference reminds me of how the
Northwestern.
Big 12 used to be. The Big 12 used to have a bunch of teams that were good, but none of them that were great.
Right.
That's what they have this year in the
Absolutely.
Big Ten.
Now, the Pac-12 is weak when you get past UCLA, Arizona, and USC. And by the way, USC is barely in the tournament. Makes no sense. They're 19-8. And they're in some of this, I don't understand. Iowa was up until a couple of weeks ago a 6 seed.
Mm-hmm.
They're 17-11.
Yeah, they really like Iowa for some reason. I've noticed that.
I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't trust Iowa at all.
No, I don't think Illinois is any good. They're a 7.
Michigan's going to sneak in again, 15-12, kind of like last year, same type of record.
I think it'll all depend on how they do. They beat Michigan State the other night, which was huge. Say they win their last couple. I don't have their schedule in front of me. Say they win their last couple of regular season games and win a couple in the tournament. They're in.
Yeah,
they get to 18, 19 wins, because that'll probably mean they would have probably beat a Wisconsin and knocked them out, maybe something to that effect. There's a lot of basketball to go. This is going to be a huge Saturday coming up. I think Marquette is extremely good in the Big East. They're solid. There's some really good. We've said this a million times. This tournament is going to be nuts.
To me, it's almost exactly like last year. It feels to a T exactly like last year.
Who'd we have? Gonzaga, were they number 1 last year, like always?
I can't even remember. They all lost. I know that.
Yeah, they were right there.
Yeah.
Again, they're down a little this year. Here's another thing. They got them as a 4, which is about right. Well, St. Mary's beat their ass, and they're a 5. So,
yeah,
I know Gonzaga's played a little bit of a non-conference schedule. And Gonzaga, just like always, they're not quite as dominant this year. So, just maybe the year they win it.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking, Don't have
I sat down just messing around the other day. It's hard once you get past, like my top 4 are Houston, Alabama, Kansas, and UCLA. And then my 2s are Purdue, Baylor, Texas, and Tennessee. And that was before Baylor got beat the other night and Tennessee got beat. But anyway, you get past that, man, it's hard to start ranking them. You can make a case for a lot of teams.
Well, that's just it. The gap between like the 2 seed and the 8 seed is nothing.
Not anything at all.
No.
And that's what's going to make this fun.
Yeah.
And then there's so many, as you've said, because we pick these games every day. So now we've kind of gotten them where we follow some of these lesser teams a little bit because we pick them every day.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some awfully good, what you call mid-major teams that are going to get left out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that Sun Belt Conference is nails. Conference USA is tough. Yeah, there's going to be some good teams that's won 25, 26 games that aren't going to get in. And then you take some 18 and 12 team. And to me, they don't. You're 18 and 12, you don't deserve to be in. I'm sorry.
I agree. No, I definitely agree. But some of them will.
No, they will because of their schedule. And I guess there's an argument both ways. But last night, if you don't follow it like you and I do, because we pick the games, so we have interest in them. I have more interest in it than you do because you're involved with the horse racing so much.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen so many games go into overtime last night. There was 61 games last night. And I luckily hit 46 of them, which I was on the right side of all those overtime games, just about every one of them.
Yeah.
I think there was about 10. At one time, I was flipping back and forth on ESPN Plus, 5 of them in overtime.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And they were great games. And it was just, some of these teams are like 12 and 16 playing a 16 and 12 and taking them in overtime. It's really some good basketball. It really is.
Yes, right now is the time. If you're going to watch college basketball, now's the time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's life and death for some of these teams to get into the tournament right now.
Yes. Absolutely.
And I'm banking on USC tonight. That was my best bet today. They need this game desperately. They're in Colorado. I'm a little surprised they're underdogs, but they are getting 2.5 points in Boulder tonight. And I'm banking on them being desperate, needing to win the game. I hope they don't choke because they need to win it. So,
well, they better win it because we've got it bet. So
I don't know whether you noticed this too. I know we got to go because you got to get ready for a show. Yesterday on the Daily Show, and if you guys watch it, you know what I'm talking about. The other day I picked Southern Mississippi and they got beat. And then last night they were favored again. They went into Old Dominion, and I should have picked Old Dominion, but I was so mad at Southern Mississippi. I thought my thoughts might be jaded because I was so mad at them. And Old Dominion beat them last night, and I should have picked Old Dominion. So
yeah, you talked about that a lot on the show, and that would have been a good one because Southern Miss. If you watch that game, you bet you're like, ugh, I don't want to touch them ever again. No,
that's so damn mad. That's messed I've been. I don't know how long. Because it was never in doubt. Well, the pick I made last night was stupid too, but anyway.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true as well. Me too.
Well, again, it happens all the time. I was trying to choose between Alabama and Houston last night. They both were heavy favorites. And I talked myself out of Alabama, and they won in overtime. I should have taken that one, and Houston blew out Tulane. So
I know that South Carolina game. Dennis said he had the money line South Carolina.
Oh,
that's a brutal loss. Yeah,
and that would have paid big time too.
It was 11 to 1 plus 1100, I think. Yeah.
Oh boy,
rough. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
anyway, we better get out of here.
We got to get out of here. If you're gonna be at the Rebel, let me know, or just
I will.
See me. I'll be around.
Thanks for me.
No, you as well, sure. But
I think I'll let you know if I'm going to be there.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, be at the Rebel this weekend. Should be fun. Gonna be another good week. Hopefully we see somebody step up and run well. All right, guys. That's it. We're getting out of here. Don't forget, though, blinkers
2 o'clock, guys. 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock. We're now 51 minutes away from the 600th Blinkers Off episode. So make sure and check that out. And for this show, we'll be back on Thursday, and we'll be back tomorrow with Dudes Who Bet Daily. All right, guys. Have a good weekend.
There you go.
This is Dudes Who Bet Sports. Dudes Who Bet Sports. It's your favorite show. Dudes Who Bet Sports, where degenerates go. Dudes Who Bet Sports. Time to change your approach with Aaron Holzman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press is full of